everybody, welcome to Dakman Productions, and welcome to the Raritan Valley Hi-Railers here with Matt. So today we're here for a visit at the shop, and we're going to go head over to another location here shortly at the Info Age Science and History Museum and visit their layout. So Matt invited me out to the shop first to visit, see what's going on. And here we have a module that sort of got damaged, correct? And they were working on this?
It got damaged at the Greenberg show. So I wasn't there, but I just, when we pulled out of the trailer yesterday, I'm like, oh, something happened to it.
So not every, there are some times where things do happen and the repairs need to be made.
Constantly.
Yeah.
It's usually minor stuff, not as major as that, but usually minor stuff. Like I have a bunch of stuff I have to go glue up at the layout today when I get there. You know, little things just come up.
Right.
But yeah, you got to be careful when you put stuff away, and you know they're delicate, not delicate, like they're pretty well built, but you know sometimes things happen.
Yeah, so there is so you guys know there are maintenance, not, you know, it's not like you build it and it's there forever.
No, because it's modular. So
right.
it would be that way if it was permanent, but because they travel, I mean this was just used at York this year, so. You know, this thing made the trip. This was used at Lancaster for the convention. So, I mean, this one's done some traveling, and you know, so it's held up pretty well. They travel pretty well in the trailers.
Yeah, and so Matt is working on something over here, another project. Now, this is not yours.
This is not mine. So you know, just to cover up that, you know, because it sounds like I lied when the last video we did. I said I have no more projects to work on, but these are things. So I'm not. You know, as everybody knows, I'm not as active with the club anymore. I'm not the coordinator anymore. So they need more modules. And it used to be a rule that when you belonged to the club, you had to provide 2 modules. Over the years, because I had just built so many, I never really enforced that rule, but they're starting to enforce it again now, obviously. So this is a new corner that's getting built. And these are kind of unique because if you look at them, they're not the typical construction we do. You can get a good view over there. Right. So one of our new coordinator, Aiden, who's young but old, you know, for his age, his father is an architect. So yeah, Michael. So he actually designed these and then had them CNC'd, you know, and cut out, and then he put them together. So the nice thing with these is because when we do our modules, has the leg pockets, the legs are separate.
Right.
This is nice because the legs are all integral, all built into it and everything, and then they fold out. So these are pretty neat. And the way he designed these was just so that the tracks are always a permanent, but then you could swap out different scenes.
Oh.
Here. So the scenes are just little, you know, built on a piece of foam or something. So to anybody get an example, if they've seen the layout, his modules that he has now are the ones at the tobacco farm, which, you know, were very well done.
Oh yeah.
You know, no lights on them. They need lights, but very well built. So these are 2 more of his modules that he's going to work on here. He left the corner. He's like, you know, have fun. You know, so I'm actually doing the scene on this, and I'm going to do a coal mine. So we got the Owen 30 track kind of laying out, you see in the front.
Yeah.
So I'm going to have it where I'm going to design like this is like a mountain side you're coming through, and this is the hole in the tunnel there, so that you can lean down, peek in, and you'll be able to see inside the coal mine.
Right.
And then come out here, and then I'm going to do a nice, you know, the only thing they'll remove off here is the building, which you can see that picture there. That's the building I'm going to build there.
All right, so here's the building he's building.
I've always liked that building. I always thought it was kind of cool. I like the hoppers at the bottom with the round.
Oh, yeah.
So, and that's what these are sitting here for. That's where I'm going to get the bottom of these.
Oh.
So I happened to be in the store, saw these. I was like,
you know what?
I was like, perfect.
Yeah, so Matt always eyes things up. So, yeah, if you take a look at this picture.
Yeah.
Okay. So, yeah, I can see it.
And then I'll add some rivet detail and stuff down the sides.
Yeah.
And once it's all painted black, I think it'll be a pretty good representation. And then this is, you know, these are one of the little mine critters that'll just, and this won't work. This will be permanently mounted.
Okay.
But they'll be like, this will be the you know, out of the mine, dump the coal into the thing, back into the mine. This will be like a service track, and then this will be like a rip track, and I'll just have some extra mine cars sitting out here.
In case somebody asks, what track are you using?
So that's actually micro engineering ON30 track. So ON30 is HO, but it's O scale.
Right.
So you can't use regular HO track because the ties don't look right. So this is actually designed for ON30. It's actually, like I said, it's microengineering ON30 track, and these are ON30 switches.
Oh. I didn't know that the OM30 they made the tracks because I know Bachman makes it and there's another manufacturer.
Well, microengineering I think makes sense because it's a flex track. I mean, it flexes so easy. It's so nice.
Well, I mean, as far as the OM30 trains, I know there's Bachman and
there's Bachman.
And there's one other one. I can't remember off the top of my head.
Most guys make their own stuff.
Yeah.
They usually what they do is they use an HO train as for the motor and everything, and then they create a new piece on the outside. Because ON30's a lot of critters, a lot of mines. I like ON30. I think if I ever was going to do something again, I actually think I kind of like to do an ON30. But I get this. You get this a Yankee Dabbler is the easiest place to buy it from.
Oh, okay.
He's got tons of it. He's got it in stock and delivers pretty great. And it's price wise, So picture if I had bought this is 6 sections ON30. If I bought six sections of Flex Gargraves 3RL track and two raw switches, the raw switches are $100 something.
Oh yeah.
So there's $200. Track, I don't know, what does a piece of Gargraves go for now? $11, $12?
It's $12 a section.
A couple $100. This was like $76.
Oh.
for 2 switches so it's pretty reasonably priced too. But yeah, it's gonna go there. I'm gonna do some trucks. These are I bought a bunch of them, but these are from Menards. I mean, they're crappy but they're cool looking. They're just a neat looking truck. So I'm gonna kind of weather these up. I'm gonna add some lights to them and stuff. I want to say these were like $6 a piece, $7 a piece.
That's it.
They weren't expensive.
Oh,
I mean, they're not even. There's nothing die cast on these. These are completely 100% plastic. But and cause, I mean, they weigh nothing. But once I weather them up, and I even liked the little. So I'm going to call this the Cripple Creek Mine. I just kind of liked. So they have a whole thing of the Cripple Creek now. They have a little mine head. I mean, their buildings are nice. I would never use the Menards stuff just because I like building my own stuff.
Right.
But their trucks are kind of cool. And these is actually a 1/48 scale, which is nice because a lot of the stuff you get is 1/43 scale.
Right.
So it's a little bigger, but these are actually 1/48. So like I said, I'll add lights to them, but I'll have a bunch of those, like a little service area. I'm going to do like a retaining wall, like they cut the mountain back on the side to create like a little flat work area.
All right.
So yeah, I think this will be a nice little project.
Yeah, this will be cool. Absolutely cool.
And then the other project going on is in here.
All right, let's go.
Because we're enforcing the 2 modular rule, Alex, who's a member, wanted, modules. So literally, like, you have to when I first joined the club, everybody had pickup trucks. It was just because that was just, but as the guys have gotten older, retired, we've taken in younger members. I mean, knows Sean and I was talking about before, a new pickup truck's $90,000. So I mean, it's like nobody's buying pickup trucks anymore. They all have these little compact cars and everything. So it's hard to fit the modules. So, and Alex's car is small. So this was it. And this is the minimum that a module can be. So these are 20 inches wide, but I wanted to give them a nice look. So, I did another little trestle scene. The nice thing with these is that I actually left these pilings just a little high so that I can set a piece of foam on top of here, and the foam will have a hole in it, so to kind of lock it there. And then you put the other module on top inside your car, and then a piece of foam on that, and you can actually transport, put your trains up on top of here, and he can fit this all back in the back of his car. And then, I wanted to give it a little detail, so I built a little coal barge here, a little self-propelled coal barge for this one. And then that one's actually a pile driver, it'd be a little maintenance pile driver.
Okay.
But again, to keep it flat, the nice thing is I made it so that, when he gets to the show, he just lifts that up, slides that around, and then there's the pile driver. And then the plexiglass will be right here.
Oh.
So you'll kind of, when you're looking at it, you'll be able to see this. Put that when the show's over, he just folds this down and bloop, puts it away. And it's out of the way, not going to get damaged.
Yeah, I like the idea how you're working around. Yeah, not everybody can go out and buy a $80,000-$90,000 pickup truck
and another $10,000 or $12,000 trailer.
Yeah. So, but I like how you work around that idea. So the younger
Yeah.
newer people who can't afford that can still enjoy joining a club and doing this.
And easy for storage. You know, Mike and I mean, if Mike and Lisa stay, they're gonna, you know, because Mike asked me yesterday, he goes, "I'm gonna have to build 2 modules." I said, "Yeah, sounds like it." So again, they live in the city. You know, they live in Staten Island, and they don't have probably a ton of room. So, and they have a smaller car. So again, you know, you make them something nice and compact. It's, I mean, you can almost store these sitting in a closet somewhere, you know, so it's not even,
Yeah.
so that's, yeah, it makes it nice. And still and these are nice too, because, you know, we have what we call fill-in modules that don't have a ton of scenery up top, because when all the scenery is at the top, it makes it hard to load your trains on the layout. So these are nice because these are easy to load train. There's nothing, you know, once the tracks are crossed there, like there's nothing you can damage. So, you know, but the fill-in modules we have now are kind of plain. You know, they're kind, you know, because they're just regular modules, don't have any scenery on them. So these will actually, I think, add a little detail to
Oh
it.
yeah, definitely.
And you know, it's full light, but you'll see, you know, you can see the lights, like, so there'll be the flashing lights at the channel. All the barges are fully lit.
Okay.
You know, they have lights on the barges. I got a couple little canoe guys and some little fishermen that are gonna go in here on the sides too. I was telling you before, the one fisherman, I'm gonna add a light to, like he's holding the light with like a crab net, like like he's jacket for crabs, you know, even though it's illegal. I used to do it all the time as a kid. You know, we used to go out to catch tons of crabs at night. So yeah, so it's just, you know, something different. But these are the newest projects.
Oh, that's good that you're helping out members still building.
Well, so Jonathan's another member. We built his 2 modules in here 2 weeks ago, the frames. But then he wanted to do it himself.
He wants okay.
So he's doing a station scene. He's replicating New York, one of the New York like Amtrak stations. So he wants to do that. I mean, he'll come down if he needs some help with something, but he wants to try to do it himself. Alex doesn't really have the space to do it at his house, and you know, he works a couple jobs, so you know, he just would rather be like, I'll give you some money to pay for the materials. I never charge the guys for labor. It's no, you know, I just, because I enjoy doing it. It gives me something to do. You know, I just be like, you know, just reimburse me for some of the materials.
Right.
And not even the wood. The wood I pull off job sites. You know, so a lot of all these are always just made out of scrap. You know, this is all the scrap stuff left over from. Well, I mean, these are plywood cutoffs. You know, the pine is just left over. You know, the pines actually we use for pack out for stuff. It's not even like finished stuff. So there's always time. I tell my guys, you know, anything, you know, 4 foot and above. So I'll come back here a lot of times, and there'll be like a little pile of wood sitting where they just drop some stuff out here. I'm like, don't throw it in the dumpster, keep it for me. So, you know, it's really just the track, the cork, which, by the way, you know, the Midwest Products doesn't make this anymore.
Oh, they don't.
And so there's another company out here I just found, MR Supply Company.
MR Supply Company.
So it's 3/16, so it's the same width as that. The only difference is it doesn't have the beveled edge.
Okay.
But honestly, I mean, by the time you're beveling with it, it doesn't really. So, and it's very reasonably priced. So yeah, there is a new manufacturer out there who's doing it. Yeah, Midwest Products. You go on their website, like HO and N scale. They said they don't have the O scale anymore.
Oh.
So I don't know why they stopped producing it, and you can still find little random boxes of it on like eBay and stuff, but they want $1 million. You know,
of course,
they think they have something valuable. So so I found this company just, you know, going on some forums and stuff, and there's a guy who builds layouts and recommends this, so I got some.
All right. Now, our second visit, because this is a twofold visit today, we're going to head over to the Infant Age Science and History Museum. As you can see, Matt is wearing his official shirt. So what is your capacity there?
So I am a board member trustee. So everybody who's there are trustees, but then I'm on the board. So I'm, you know, buildings and grounds. So we just had a meeting the other day. You know, it's an old army base. So, you know, and the government doesn't take great care of their buildings when they know they're going to decommission a base. So
Right.
some of these buildings lacked a lot of maintenance before the base got closed down. Anybody who doesn't know, Camp Evans was part of Fort Monmouth. So it was, Fort Monmouth was all, that's where CCOM was. It was communications. All Army radar, everything was all original. Before it got moved to Aberdeen, Maryland, was all designed and built at Fort Monmouth. And then all their like top secret stuff was all designed at Camp Evans, which is where InfoAge is. So it's not just trains. There are some permanent exhibits. So Garden State Model Railroad Club's there. They have an HO club there. And then there's all kinds of military exhibits there. There's a military vehicle collection there. I think you saw that last
Oh
time.
yeah, that was a beautiful collection.
There's stuff there the Smithsonian wishes they had. That collection is quite a group of vehicles. He's not, if it's the weather's too cold or too hot, he's not, because that building's not conditioned. So sometimes he's not always there. Spring is the best time to go to see him. But inside the old Marconi Hotel, because, anybody who knows of telegraph, Marconi was the Marconi Telegraph Company. So that's actually, the Army bought that from Marconi. So the brick buildings in the front were all part of the old Marconi Telegraph Company. So some of the buildings they're from the early 1900s.
Wow.
But they're beautifully built. I mean, they're unique inside. You could definitely walk through and be like, this is military. Yeah, I mean, it's at 2201 Marconi Road in Wall Township, New Jersey. Definitely, make the trip out. We'll be there and the museum is open every Saturday, Sunday, and Wednesday from 12 to 5. We'll be there till Sunday, February 8th.
Okay.
So you come out and take a look, but also, walk around the museum. There's a lot to see there.
All right. So not only it's a great visit to the museum, but you get to see the Raritan Valley Hi-Railers. They are going to be there on display. As Matt explained, there are multiple buildings on location here that you can walk through. And so what is the cost to get in the museum for?
It used to be $12. I think this year it went up to $15. Because price increase, so I think it's $15 to get in there.
Okay.
But that gets you the full campus. You can walk, and it's all self-guided. There's guys who you just look for anybody with the shirt on. There's guys that they can help you, like explain. If you want to know where some, because it can be confusing. Like there's a antique radio there that's cool. Like they got all kinds of old computers and it sounds boring until you get there. Anybody my age, you walk through there, you go like, oh my God, I remember that when I was a kid. They have the old Atari, they have the Commodore, they have all these, they have when computers were the size of this room, they have all these old computers there.
Right.
And then there's, they call it the deconstruction, the computer, where they actually break stuff down and show you how things work, and you can go there with your kids and they could take a soldering class to learn how to solder. And they have 3D printers in there. Like it's a technology and history museum. But then you can see old the radio packs like the guys would carry from Vietnam and so it's you see these things because now everybody thinks these cell phones, but I mean these radios were when radios were first in, it took a whole damn truck to set up. But the whole the whole guardrail system and everything that the military used as their base was all designed there. Another cool thing they have is I think it's called the World War II where it's called the living room, but it's an exhibit. You go in there and it looks like there's old wingback chairs and an old style looking radio, but there's a kiosk there and you can pull up any date you want because all those speeches were recorded. So you pull up when Pearl Harbor was bombed and he gave the speech of, this is the day they'll live in infamy, and but you hear him giving the speech, and it plays over the old radio, the speaker, so you can have that crackling. It's just it'll raise hair on the back of your neck. You'll be like, the young kids might not get it, but anybody who is older will be like, wow, I can. You can hear the recording of all the talks when 9/11, and then they have a 9/11 exhibit there also. The Monmouth County Fire Museum is there. So the old Evans Base Firehouse is now a museum.
Oh.
So they have older fire trucks there, and sometimes, there's always events going on there. So like sometimes there'll be a fire department muster where like trucks from like all different areas come in there. So they'll have 75, 80 fire trucks there from car shows. Like they'll invite different car clubs to come there. Most of that stuff's usually when it's warmer out.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, there's a lot. Go on their website. There's always something going on. They're cleaning up now in a Armstrong exhibit. They have because like they have a lot with black colored scientists because back when segregation was a big thing, it was hard for them to get, but the military would hire them because they knew they were intelligent people, and they knew like if you ever see the movie Colors, Numbers, but where the mathematician that did all the calculations for the space shots and everything. So who worked for NASA? I can't think of the name of the movie, and it had Kevin Costner in it and everything. But so there was I'm horrible with names. There was a scientist who worked there, very well known. He was also a professor at Monmouth University. He was on the board for Brookdale University or Brookdale College, but he worked there for years. So they have a whole thing about him and everything, and he was the one who actually figured out how to use the moon to bounce a signal off of for communication. So like that was called the Diana Project. So the one satellite dish, it's ISEC, it's down the road, is still there, and the Princeton University just donated a ton of money to actually get it working again. So they have a thing called Space Camp during the summer, and the kids go there and they send bounce things off the moon, and it's just neat. It's a neat place. There's a lot of history. I'm sure I'm only telling half the story too. So when you go there, like you can read everything that actually thoroughly explains everything so that you understand it better. I'm kind of just like hitting little bullet points.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a neat museum.
Now, will there be other times where you'll be on display at the museum as well?
I'm shooting so last year when we were there, we were in May, so I have to sit down with the CEO of the place to look at the schedule, the calendar, because they have a lot of things that come in and out of there, and the room that we're in is the room that they use for a lot of those things. It's a decent sized room. Our layout for this time, we're 22 by 64, so it's a pretty good size. The nice thing there too is that like I can control the lights. I can control, so like a lot of times we'll shut the lights off and we have the layout. You can see it in the dark.
Yeah. The other question I have is, I know you're not the coordinator anymore, but maybe you would know. Is there any plans for the club to attend any of the York events?
I know the guys still want to do it. I'm not interested in doing it. I told them they're more than welcome. Take the trailers and the modules. I'm not like that. I mean, you can take the stuff. I think if they do it, it won't be this year. It will maybe be next year, like every other year.
Okay.
I know York contacted me and asked if we, I guess we were a hit out there, so they were.
Oh yeah, you guys were a hit. Matter of fact, because I am an official videographer for them, and they were trying to get me to get you guys to come out.
They have interest. I mean, there's talk of doing, what's the thing in Scranton? Steamtown, yeah. Steamtown, there was talking to, because I guess they have things where they set up in the roundhouse.
Yes, yeah.
They talked about doing the Pennsylvania Railroad Museum for their railroad days. The problem is, I've been out to that. There's not enough room for our layout out there. It's you have to shrink down so narrow and out there that I don't think it worked there. But there's things, but I'm just not interested in traveling and it's just not me anymore. I like doing this, that's why I told him, I said, I'll build modules for you guys all day, but I just don't want to, yesterday we set up an InfoWaves. I was there at 9:30 in the morning. We didn't finish up till 9:30 at night. I mean, I'm like crippled today. Like walking, like my knees hurt. I just don't want to do it anymore.
Yeah,
you're
I understand.
Setting up on a hard concrete floor all day.
That's why I think making Aiden the coordinator was a smart move, because he's a lot younger. Right?
He's young. He's got young ideas. I used to, for the map where we would say how we did I would draw it like on a sketch on a piece of paper. He had I don't know if it's still hanging up when you get there, but he like did it on like a CAD program where it's like all, you can actually read it. So yeah, no, he's young. He's young. Some of the older members, I don't know if they're responding 100% to him yet, but yeah, I told him I have his back. If anybody gives you a hard time. But the club's still going strong. We've actually taken in some newer members, some younger members.
Well, that's the only way to keep it going. They got to accept the new members.
It's hard finding young members, not young people who don't like this hobby anymore.
Yeah,
I think they're far and few between. But it's a great hobby. I'm not a train guy. I like building stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
So as far as the trains, I'm taking my truck's full of the trains I own. I don't even know if I'll probably run on Wednesdays just because a lot of the guys work. They can't come on Wednesdays. So I'll go there on Wednesdays. Grab myself some Chinese food, go there, go eat my lunch, go run some trains. And we've invited some other guys like New Jersey Hi-Railers, I think, are coming one of the Wednesdays because anybody knows they're in the middle of trying to build their layout now. So, we offered if you guys want to run some trains.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
Some of the independent Hi-Railers, we've let them know, if you want to come run some trains, you're going to come run some trains today.
Yep.
So that's the nice thing is when we're set up for, a month at a time, you can kind of spread out who wants to run trains. There's plenty of time. The nice thing, because, I'm on the board. I have the keys to the kingdom. So, like last night we stayed there. So when the place closes at 5 today, if the guys want to stay late, I don't care. You stay, until I want to go home. And then, so we'll maybe get some dinner there tonight, run some trains for a while. And so it's
all right.
Yeah, it's nice. It's a nice medium type because, everybody's always like, "Oh, get a permanent place." Probably with a permanent place that costs money, and which means then you got to have expensive dues, and then you got to have and then you got to maintain the building, and then you got to worry about if your HVAC system goes down. This is nice because we get to set up a month at a time, a couple times a year, but we have no costs involved. It's not, if their HVAC system goes, that's, they got to get somebody in to fix it. So it's that's, I kind of like doing this. It's, I don't like the 2-day shows anymore because, it's a lot, it's the same amount of setup and same amount of takedown, but there's only a day in between. This is nice. Okay, I'm miserable for a couple days setting up, but then, but then we're there for a month. Now I don't have to worry about it until, February. Then we got to take it down and get it out of there.
Right.
So I kind of like this happy medium. So we'll do this for a while. I don't foresee us getting a permanent place anytime in the near future. But something comes up, and we'll jump on it. We're not getting any younger.
Yeah, that's for sure. All right, so this is the first part of our visit. I'm not sure if I'll put this on one video or 2 separate videos. We'll figure it out later. But in the meantime, so we're going to go ahead and head on over to the Info Age Science and History Museum, and we'll check out the Raritan Valley Hi-Railers layout that's set up.
All right, see you over there.
All right.